Erde Steiner Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Ah, Professor Lutzke.
Good to see you. What's
So nice to see you. Sophie,
Sophie.
long time no see.
Yes. What a coincidence to meet you here.
Absolutely, I come here quite often.
I just come from this wonderful show, Fundamano.
Oh, that one.
Yes. In which you played
Oh,
Dr.
no.
Barrett.
I hope I didn't make a fool of myself.
Let me answer that later.
Okay.
Wow, yes, I was so impressed with the
Can we
different
maybe
scenes.
move this table closer to the music, please?
Okay.
I really love the piano in this cafe.
Me too.
But I haven't seen... Do you know who is the pianist this evening?
Well, it's Kate Watson. She plays here regularly.
Oh,
Yes. Haven't you noticed?
I must confess I have been here for a couple of years. But before that I was quite a regular visitor. I see they changed their menu as well. They've shrunk the size. It was 2 pages before.
Yeah, it's only one page.
Makes it simpler to choose.
Yeah.
Shall we order something to drink? It's on me.
I'm not having anything. I just want to see if they have free Wi-Fi here.
But Hans, this is traditional cafe. I don't think they will have Wi-Fi here.
No, they do.
Do they?
Yes.
Oh, they've changed that too.
The password is 3165.
Is it so?
Yes. That's interesting
Indeed, it works,
because
it seems.
in one of the scenes, they were discussing codes and how to decipher codes. So I wonder what the 3165 will bring about.
That's my password?
You know, it's 3 is C, and 1 is A, and 6 is F, and 5 is E. What a clever password. It says cafe.
You are such a master of translating mathematics to music, Hans. Could I have some coffee, please? I see you got it on the menu, but I would like to have it with banana, please.
Sorry, sir. We don't have vanilla ice cream.
No, you're not getting me. I don't want the iced coffee. I want the hot coffee, but can you maybe put some bananas inside?
Unfortunately, I don't know how to.
No, it's very simple. You just cut the bananas in pieces, and then you sprinkle them over the coffee as it was sugar. It tastes delicious. But Hans, you know, I've been wondering about... I've
Yeah,
been,
no bananas for me.
I've been wondering about our
I just want to put the password in. Right.
I've been wondering about our education system, you see. It feels to me that there's a lot of, like in the show that you just watched, so it feels to me there's a lot of memorization that takes place, and students hardly get the chance of creative work. How is it in music? Do you do in a more creative way, or do you also have that memorization style of learning there?
Yes, of course. But look, I mean, in music, mostly the focus is on the performance of pieces of music. I'm a classically trained musician, so most of what I have to say tonight to you will take that as a departure point. So we have performance, but then and we have an exam system. We have one in South Africa, and you know, all the young people are doing these exams, but you also have to do music theory with it.
But if you don't mind me interrupting you,
Yeah.
why is it so important to teach those who learn music, to teach them how to perform if they're not going to end up becoming performers? Wouldn't it be more interesting maybe to teach them to be creative and write their own music instead of training them to perform a piece when they will not end up being performers as a profession?
Well, I agree with what you are saying. I find that the practice and the theory is so separated often from one another. You know, the theory is something you have to do in order to play a certain practical examination. It's like a marathon you are running, you know, and there's certain training you have to do to become very proficient in that. But I think you can understand theoretical concepts much better if you compose music that is based on these rules, these theoretical rules, and that's where you start. But then you also break them.
But do you let your students compose music?
Certainly, yes. In the university.
Are they able to do that?
Well, some will come to you or come to me with, you know, pieces they wrote in high school, and they want an opinion on it. And then in certain cases I would encourage them to take the specialist direction in composition. But I'm very open to those who are unsure. They want to create something, but they don't have the confidence to do it. What do you think, Sophia?
Yes, I think when do we know when to break the rules? How do you help your student to know when it is okay to break the rules, or how do you build that confidence?
Well, unfortunately, you first have to learn the rules or the fundamentals of music.
But can't you discover them by yourself, but just by sitting at the piano and experimenting, basically?
You could, but I think you need to go back. But talking of bananas, I just want to mention something about...
This coffee with bananas is delicious, by the way.
I don't think so.
I just want to...
That's because you do double portion.
No.
I just want to... Because for me, that is the kind of beginning of creativity also.
The bananas.
No, Bach, the composer Johann Sebastian Bach, he did an interesting thing, because I'm coming back to the group that deciphered a code. So Bach used his own name and put it into integers. And if you add them together, you get the number 14 with the name Bach. Or you can add 1 and 4 together and you get 5. I mean, I'm getting into numerology a bit, which I don't think is a friend of mathematics.
No, not
okay?
at all.
Okay, but then if you take Johann Sebastian Bach, his full names, and you add that all together, you also get to 40.
Oh, really?
Yes. But now the interesting thing is, if you take J.S. Bach, it comes to 41, a mirror of 40.
We call that duality.
Yes. Now what he did is he wrote a lot of religious music. And whenever he personally believed in something, he expressed that belief, his own belief, by using the integers 1 and 4, or 4 and 1, or combination of them in the music.
But Hans, are you telling me that Bach was basically using mathematics to create his music?
Well, you know, a lot of people would say they don't like Bach because he sounds too mathematical. Right. But now the interesting thing is, if you take the word mathematics and you also give an integer to each of the letters, it adds up to 44, which is 8. If you take music and you take those letters and you add it together in integers, you get 26, also 8. Now some people think that 8 is an infinite number, but I'm saying mathematics and music is equal because they both come to 8.
That's a good point. I like.
Hans, I think you've convinced me. There needs to be some basics before one gets to with creativity.
Yes, that's why I need to go back to Pythagoras, who was one of the ancient Greek mathematicians. I think you can tell me more about him perhaps. But what I learned when I studied music was that he took a string and, you know, fixed it to one point and another and made it tense, and he plucked the string and it had a certain, what we say, pitch. But then he discovered that the string also vibrates in halves and in
Does it?
quarters and in thirds. So the half of the string gives you an octave above. There we are, an octave above, right? But the third of the vibration gives you a fifth above. Right. So this is the very
No,
basis of music.
Please continue.
Okay. But I just want to make sure you're not going to order something with bananas again.
No, please, can you take it back? That was a
Oh,
very
but
bad idea.
please, I'll have it.
We're having a lot of octaves at the piano
It's a different
and
color.
fifths.
Is it the same?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so from that, people started to fill in that octave with notes. And one of the very first examples, well, it was actually a guy called Guido of Arezzo who created the first scales, and 7 notes. And to cut a long story short, and I'm not absolutely correct in what I'm saying, because this is a play, isn't it? So
I was wondering where the old laughing was coming from.
yeah, so C major is a scale.
So it is.
Yes, yes. But we can also go a fifth up and play G major, or another fifth up, which is D major.
What would be the purpose of that?
I'm coming to that because in one of the presentations we had multiples of 2 and multiples of 3. So here we have an example of multiples of fifths. We are going up in fifths. But we can also go the other way around, as in that example, we had 0 going to -2, going to -4, and so on. So we can go down in fifths, from C down to F, down to B flat, down to E flat, and so on. And what is so amazing, we refer to this as a cycle of fifths. If we go up, we can go up 7 times. If we go down, we go down 7 times.
We get 14. 7 plus 7.
No, no.
No?
It's not like Bach thought. Because the way that we tune the piano in equal temperament means that at the end of the one going up and at the end of the one going down, they overlap with one another.
No.
And so we speak about C sharp major, or we speak about D flat major, and it's exactly the same thing. The one has sharps, which means we raise the tones. The other one has flats, which means we lower the tones, and yet they sound the same.
But do we really need to...
Do I convince you?
Of what? But
I knew it.
But my point is, does a student of music, let me rephrase, does a human being have to know all these rules in order to be creative in music?
Yeah, they do, because I haven't even come to harmonies, which is when we put notes on top of one another.
No, but that's the entire problem. In mathematics, we put a lot of content on top of one another, and it becomes so tall that they can't climb that high. And then along the way of learning and learning and learning, they never get a chance to be creative.
Yeah, but in music, if you play a chord like C major, you get C, E, G, and then you get C again. And then you get E again, and you get G again.
That's quite fascinating.
And that goes up. And it could go up outside of your hearing ability. And it can go down, also outside of human hearing ability. But what I want to come to is that once you know these rules, you can compose with these rules and you can break the rules. But you don't throw the rules away, you replace them with rules of your own. Which,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah,
Instead of teaching them rules, let's ask them to make their own rules.
yes.
That would be creativity.
But how do you know that they are good rules?
How do they know that the rules are good? Well, they can test them.
Yes. Well, I can think of one band, Queen to be exact. I saw a YouTube of them, and yes, exactly. This song, Bohemian Rhapsody, is well known, very much well known. And why? Because of its structure. It's basically 3 songs within one. It copies an opera tradition from the classical era, but it's pop, you know. And it has the most wonderful harmonies and breaking rules, the rules that I was talking about, and really making it very expressive by doing so.
So are you telling me that before one can skillfully break the rules, one must first learn them?
Yes.
From whom?
Well, in my case, I didn't, as a young teenager, Queen was not in existence, so I had the Beatles. And they wrote this wonderful song, If I Fell in Love with You. Just listen. Another step down. And repeat. And going down. And now.
I fell in love.
Wow. Yes. And there. You see? Now, this song is in D major, but it starts in a totally different key. Now, that's creativity for me. Something that I try to emulate in the music that I compose.
Hans, can we perhaps play one of your pieces? Would she be able to play one of your
I
pieces?
wonder if Kate knows Chochaboek.
What is that? Chochaboek.
Chochaboek is a book of insects.
Oh, could you please explain a bit about that?
Yes, it's a set of 5 pieces. So I didn't want 4 or 2 that can be divided by 2. I wanted 5 pieces, 5 separate pieces, each one depicting an insect. The first one is a cricket. I don't think I need to say more. The second one is a spider, but it sounds a bit like old music, and it's a theme with variations. What I mean by that is you hear the theme, and then I elaborate on that theme, and the theme comes back. Almost like a spider leaving his web and coming back to it. The third piece is a flea, a jumping one, jumps all the time. The fourth piece is a caterpillar, slowly, but there's a kink in this caterpillar. And the last one is an ant, a very busy one. But before Kate plays Chochaboek, I just want to say something, that cricket is prescribed as an exam piece, and it's played very often. So a piano teacher, when she met me, she said, "Oh, I have a young learner who's playing your cricket." And when I told her I know the composer, she said, "But is he still alive?" Because very often people think composers are dead. Kate, please do me the honor and play Chochaboek.
che bella cosa, una giornata sole, un'aria serena, dopo una tempesta. E l'aria fresca, palleggiana vesca, che bella cosa, una del sole. Oh, no, tu sole, più bella in me, oh sole mio, dal fronte a te. Oh sole mio, stan fronte a te, stai na fronte a te. Fano te sorrese ne scene, me bene quasi la magliungonia. Soda Venezia, palleggiana vesca, che bella cosa n'arna del sole. In fronte a te, sole, oh sole mio, sta in fronte a te.